We have a B and an S here. Ah, here we go. It is now a year since I started my quest for the corners. And part of my delay has been the busyness of life. But part of it's also I've had some new discoveries about the project I hadn't known that I would make. So here we go, part 3 of the Corners of Sandwich. In 1884, when Bourne divided from Sandwich, 24 granite markers were cut and placed at the 24 corners. So I went on a quest to find each one of these granite stone markers. They're about 3 feet tall and carved with the initials of the towns beside. I learned about these markers from a book, Sandwich, a Cape Cod Town. I then cross-referenced the map with the Massachusetts State Archive, the Sandwich Town property maps, and then used Google Maps to figure out what was around these somewhat forgotten places. Now, in parts 1 and 2, I mostly focused on the southern corners of Sandwich. So this last part focuses on those that are in the northern part of town, as well as some unexpected finds along the way. Now, the first northern one I attempted to find was near Sandy Neck Beach. This one caused me some problems. All right, so the beach entrance was not an option due to piping plover nesting habitat. So I'm gonna try to come in from the land. The corner between Sandwich and Barnstable, the northernmost, is in the dunes of Sandy Neck Beach. And as I went looking for it, my biggest fear was that erosion had washed it away. I tried to go a back way through the dunes and still found nothing out there. However, while I was out in the dunes, I received a nice phone call from the National Guard. I just got off the phone with the military base. What they have said is that that marker is in the middle of the firing range, and the only people that go out there are unexploded ordnance experts. That marker remains unconfirmed. It might be there, but it might not. All right, so this is the Barnstable Sandwich Town line. Keep driving down here, you hit Sandy Neck, and in theory, the corner of Sandwich and Barnstable is out on Sandy Neck Beach, out in the dunes. However, they did not put a marker out there. Instead, they put something called a witness marker. And that witness marker is coming up right here. And witness markers are markers that need to be put where you cannot put a marker. Now, it's sitting in this yard over here, right behind me. Has a really cool carved B. It has some paint on it. It's also an interesting shape. It's the only one that I know of that is kind of a triangle shape. Northeasternmost marker in town. So this left 3 final markers in the northern section of town. The first one of those markers is the most recognizable and easily found marker of all 24. It sits right on Route 6A in front of the Sagamore Inn. It's tall, it's prominent. The carvings of B and S for Bourne and Sandwich are the largest of any I've seen, which makes sense as it was the main road into town in 1884. To the east of the Sagamore Inn is what's known as Freeman's Lane. And I knew that in theory there was a corner down here, so I hacked my way through the thorns and the briar and finally found the corner along an old stone wall. Now, the last corner I was looking for was not on mainland Cape Cod. Sandwich was cut off from Scusset Beach when the canal was built. So there is part of Sandwich across the canal. There aren't many homes there, but it is a fine section of town. So Kate, Charlotte, and I hopped in the car. Where are we going?
We're going to Scusset Beach.
Why?
Found our marker at Scusset Beach.
Yeah.
Jeremy, wait up. You see it?
It looks like if it was that, it got broke. See? It's
Maybe
shorter.
somebody like chopped it
It
off.
is made of granite. This is the correct type of stone. Look, it is. See? See over here? Come over here, on this side. See, there's a carved S.
Yes.
We found it.
Found it.
Yeah. And look, there's a B on this side for Bourne. All right, we found.
Yay!
We found it. Here it is. It's too short. It's strange. but we have a nice B here for born.
And there's an S for sandwich over here.
And there's an S for sandwich. This one corner has caused me some problems. According to the documents that were produced by the state of Massachusetts, this corner has been moved. I don't know who moved it. I don't know why it was moved. But the stone marker does appear much shorter than all the other ones, indicating that perhaps it's been broken. And it's about 50 feet from where I believe it should be. I've sent this information to the town. They certainly can act upon it should they want to, but it was an exhilarating moment to find that last corner. It's excellent. Char, what do you think?
It's super cool.
Yeah, super cool. All right. I thought the story ended there, but the story did not. What I found is that in addition to the 24 corners of Sandwich that were marked, there are also 4 road crossings that are marked by similar stone markers. These are also carved with the town's initials. So starting on Route 6A, right near Howland Lane, there is a small marker that is along the road that is mostly hidden by brush, but marks when you cross 6A from Sandwich into Barnstable. Sandwich Barnstable line. Oh, we got it. It's nicely carved. It's definitely shorter than these other ones, so maybe it got hit by a plow. Maybe it's been, it's sunk, I don't know. Oh, I'm psyched. I didn't think there was one here. I thought it was gone. There's another that sits on High Street, not far away. Here we go. So that's it. The third crossing is the one that I had long seen on Race Lane. All right, so this is one of the corners. That isn't a corner. Dividing Sandwich and Barnstable. We have the sign right over here. And the fourth one can be found on Santuit Newtown Road. All right, I am here on Santuit Newtown Road. We have another stone on this side. We have an S on the other side. We should have a B, another not corner, but boundary marker between Barnstable and Sandwich. I looked in a few other places to see if there were markings, particularly one at the end of Popplebottom Road. Popplebottom crosses from Sandwich into Barnstable into the West Barnstable Conservation Land. However, there is no marker there. None of the other markers could I find. However, certainly if there's some intrepid questers around, perhaps there are some that I've missed, marking the transitions from one town to another. Now, the story might have ended there as well. However, it doesn't. When Bourne divided from Sandwich in 1884, the town hired 2 men, Seth S. Maxim and Daniel W. Tribbo, to cut the granite markers to mark the corners of Sandwich. Now, I'd known these names from the book Sandwich, a Cape Cod Town. I'd always wondered where they cut those granite posts. This past summer, I've been working on clearing out the old stone walls at Greenbrier Nature Center. It's one of the largest sections of old stone walls left in Sandwich. And I'm working on a particular section of those stone walls lately that goes to the southernmost section before you hit the highway of Discovery Hill Road. There's many roads in Sandwich that were cut off by the highway, and Discovery Hill is one of them. Now, the story of the stone walls is for another day, but as I was walking along what remains of Discovery Hill Road, I noticed there was a hole in the side of the road. So where we are right now is the southern end of Discovery Hill Road before the highway. Now next to this road, if you look at it on a LiDAR map, LiDAR maps are excellent. They strip all the vegetation off the land and leave you with the topography. And you can really see there's a hole, and that's where we're gonna go. So we have this hole here with a very large stone at the bottom. I'd consider it a boulder, a glacial erratic. And I always wondered why there was a hole with a big stone at the bottom. And I don't know, I figured maybe they were taking soil away, hit the rock, gave up, left that behind. But this summer, I went down into the hole. And as I'm looking at it, what I start to notice are on the top, we have some holes. It certainly shows that someone was taking chunks out of this boulder for use. You don't just chisel holes into a boulder of granite unless you want it. When you look at the corners of Sandwich, they also have chisel marks on them. If you are tasked in 1884 to go cut some granite posts to mark the corner of Sandwich, well, it seems like you would come out to a place that's really kind of in the middle of nowhere, where there's a lot of granite that you can take your chisel and chisel out some chunks. This is what I believe is the source of at least a number of these granite posts that were placed in 1884, as well as the big boulder that is out in Sham Kroll. Not only did I find evidence at Discovery Hill, but also this past summer I decided to hike across Sandwich. I was curious to see what route I could take that would cross as many conservation lands as possible. This is a project that is done every year on Martha's Vineyard, and I hope to expand it to the whole town next year. While I was hiking, I began at the old Sagamore Inn at the corner of Sandwich there, and I crossed the road and hiked through Sham Kroll State Forest, which, if you haven't been in there, is a fantastic set of trails. And on those trails, I found an old wagon road. And on that old wagon road, what did I find but another granite boulder that had chisel marks in it. Ha! Alright. We have these holes here, which would have been used to break off pieces of granite. You'd hammer in these spikes, wedge off chunks. They could then carve into whatever shape you want. Why would you be in the middle of nowhere? If not, to be cutting the corners of Sandwich. Just so excellent. So there are at least 2 boulders in existence in town that they are the origin rocks for the corners of Sandwich. Now, this has been a fantastic adventure. I've loved it so much, and it's really showed me a lot about the town of Sandwich. There's portions of town that are full of old trees and new forests, of blueberries, of ponds, of sections of land that many people haven't seen in maybe 100 years. Sandwich is an incredible collection of lands and roads and people. But sometimes the only way to know about it all is to go adventuring. Now, every town in Massachusetts is required to mark their corners. Sandwich certainly has done such a thing. In theory, every town in Massachusetts has similar objects marking these corners. So I encourage anyone to go search and look and see what they can find. Perhaps you'll see something you've seen forever and didn't know what it was, and perhaps you'll find something new that you didn't know that was there at all. But whatever it is, a spirit of adventure follows those who look, and I encourage you to be the lookers. Thanks for watching, and fare thee well.